All right. Good morning, friends.
Good morning, everyone. And I'm Jenna.
And I'm Steve.
And thank you all so much for joining us for another Field Trip Friday. Today, we are going to go behind the scenes at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. And with us from the DBAP, we have Emily and Scott. Good morning, Emily, Scott. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Each Friday, we are hosted by a different DPS classroom, and maybe one day you'll host our stream one day. Shout out to this week's hosts from Sandy Ridge Elementary. We have Miss D's 4th grade class. And from Southwest Elementary, we have Miss Gazy's 3rd grade class. Welcome, 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 everyone.
Thank you.
Share our picture of Southwest here real quick.
Woohoo!
There we go. Hopefully you can see your school there. Yeah.
All right, to our friends who are joining us in the Zoom chat, if you have any questions or observations that you would like to make while we're watching the video today, please put them in the chat. I'll be in there chatting with you too, along with Scott and Emily. And at the end of our video, we'll have Scott and Emily answer some of your questions in our live Q&A. Steve, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm so excited. This was so fun. So I look forward to seeing all your cool questions and learning more about them at the end. So let's share. All righty, everything is ready. Here we go.
I'm Jenna.
And I'm Steve.
Welcome to another Field Trip Friday. Where are we today, Steve?
We're at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park.
Wow, I love the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. I come here a lot in the summertime.
Yeah, me too. This is one of my favorite places to enjoy, of course, the game of baseball, but also just to be with my friends and enjoy the summertime and enjoy Durham.
That's right. We're going to talk to a whole lot of people about how they run this whole park, even in the off season.
Yep, takes a lot of people to make this whole thing happen, and we're going to get a chance to see what it looks like.
Yeah, let's go take a look.
Let's do it.
Hi, Peter. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for coming. This is exciting.
I'm so excited to be here. I've often been on the other side of this wall.
Yeah.
So can you tell a little bit about who you are and where we are right now?
Sure. My name is Peter Wallace. I'm the director of ticket operations for the Durham Bulls, and you are in the box office. Actually, you're in the Mako medical ticket office at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. And this is, I'm a little biased, this is the most important part of your tour today.
I would think so.
Because this is where everything starts.
Yes.
So when you think of how you come to a game, the first thing you need is a ticket.
Yes.
So in the ticket office, we have 12 ticket windows. All of them are equipped with a computer and a ticket printer, where we go about printing upwards of 100,000 tickets over the course of our season. We've supplemented that with a lot of online and digital tickets, and we also print out ticket booklets. So all of that comes together. So whether you're coming in with a physical ticket, your ticket on your phone, a ticket you printed on your printer at home, all of that originates here with the technology. So what I spend a lot of my time on is making sure that people have the easiest time to purchase a ticket, so that they don't have to think about coming and worrying about it.
Well, thank you so much for putting so much thought into this, the very first experience of the Durham Bulls Stadium.
My pleasure.
So, Brian, where are we? What is this place?
This is the Durham Bulls Ballpark Corner Store, located right at the main gates of the ballpark.
Cool. This is awesome. So,
Thank
how long have you worked here? How did you arrive in this space? And
Wow.
Yeah, tell me a little bit of the story.
I don't know if we have enough time for that. This will be my 15th year.
Whoa, cool.
I went from a young rookie to a seasoned veteran, we'll call it now.
So one of the things I'm super excited about showing this video to our audience is that this is happening. This is not baseball season right now.
No,
So
it definitely isn't.
Yeah, but it is still kind of Bulls merchandise season.
Yes,
yeah?
it is. We are definitely 12 months a year.
Cool.
The store is open every weekday. Plus, we have an extensive e-commerce business as well. I'm also the team travel director.
Oh wow.
So I do all of the scheduling of how the team is going to get to wherever they need to be. That
Cool.
happens in the off season as well. And we love seeing our fans and customers throughout the year.
That's awesome. So just to dig into that a little bit, so you have to like organize all the like travel and transportation for them
Yep.
and everything. Whoa, that's got to be a big job.
I'm given the schedule with a blank slate. I figure out how they're going to bus, they're going to fly, hotels, cars, any way that a player or coach needs to get somewhere. I prep that throughout the offseason.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, Dave, where are we, and what do you do here?
Okay, so I'm the food and beverage director here at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. We're actually up in our suite kitchen right here. So we've got two large kitchens. This is by far the smaller of the two. The one downstairs is gigantic, and we use that to feed all the party decks. Up here, we use this to feed the suites in the club.
Cool.
And just as we're kind of in the off season, this is really the only kitchen that we've got active. And we're preparing, testing a couple things, making sure we got the right sizes for stuff to make sure we're ready to go. I mean, my main job is kind of planning things out, and then, the other managers here, and the staff, they're usually executing it. So doing a little bit of being able to get up from my desk and see if the plans that have been laid out will work.
That's awesome.
So that's what we're doing.
That's cool. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing a little bit of your life and your work with us.
Hey Tate, thanks for letting us join you in here.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
So how long have you been working here?
About 5 years we've been in the park.
Pretty cool. And I haven't been in a place like this before. So can you tell us a little bit about where we are and what you do in here?
So this is the brewery. This is Durham Beer Company, and we brew beer for the stadium here. And we also distribute beer locally to Durham, Raleigh, Chapel Hill. I think we even go all the way to the coast just
Wow.
a little bit, and we're trying to get further west.
Cool.
So that'll be happening in the next few months, hopefully.
Very cool.
But we make beer for the park here, and we serve it on two little bottoms-up dispensers, which are pretty cool, although we don't have them out now. And then there's other points in the park too where you can buy our cans and our beer on tap.
Thank you, Tate,
Yeah,
so
thanks,
much.
Tate.
You're welcome. Appreciate you.
I love coming to Bulls games, but I'm never in this area here. What can you
Yeah.
tell us about this space?
It's pretty cool. So this was new in 2014. Prior to 2014, we did not have an interior space that could hold more than 25 people.
Oh.
Ironically, right now during COVID, we can only have 25 people in here, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But we're in the PNC Triangle Club, and so it overlooks home plate and the rest of the field. And we hold special events in here throughout the year during the off season and even during the season. And then on game days, we have an all-you-can-eat buffet and all-you-can-eat or all-you-can-drink bar. And have about 200 people to 250 people in this space.
Well, that's a lot of people in here.
Yeah, it's a great view, and most importantly, it's air conditioned,
Ooh,
and that
yeah.
comes in handy on July and August.
That's nice. I can't wait to see more places around the park.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So, Emily, can you tell us who you are and where we are and what this place does?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Emily Almond. I'm the marketing and fan engagement coordinator. And right now we are in game operations room. So this is basically the control room for anything video board related, audio related, anything that you kind of see here inside the stadium except for the actual baseball game starts here. So yeah, it's kind of Grand Central Station.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that is really cool. And I do hear a lot of sounds when I'm here.
Absolutely.
Yes, our music operator actually sits right behind you
Cool.
and handles everything. We can pipe sound into Basically, every crevice of the stadium, back in the club, and out front, on the concourse, inside the concourse bathrooms, basically like anywhere that you would ever go inside the ballpark, there can be different types of sounds. And it doesn't all have to be the same, which is really cool.
I've always been curious, is there like rehearsal for this, or how do folks learn to do this? Like, because y'all do a good job, and I'm always like, man, how's that happen?
Thank you. So we do have, at the start of every year, we do have like a dress rehearsal type, just training session where we go over, you know, what happens on the video board, just basically how to use everything. And then also every game, I write a game script for, write a production rundown. So it basically has from when gates open, say for a 7:05 game, from 6 o'clock to 7:05, everything down to the second is scripted out.
Wow.
And then from first pitch to the end of the game, every half inning is scripted out. So I do that for every single game. You can tell what's on every single one of our 8 video boards, what's on, what's going to be playing on the sound system, what's on TVs. All of that is on, you know, a couple of sheets of paper that for every single game. So
Oh, that's wild.
a lot can all be boiled down to one thing, which is really cool.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
Do you operate the home run bull that is not here right now?
We do. So actually, fun fact, I don't think many people know this. The bull operation is a 2-step process.
Whoa.
Yes. So right behind you is actually our music operator does whenever we hit a home run. This is the bull control.
Wow. It even says bull control.
Yes. So that he operates the eyes and the tail and the nose and the smoke. So making sure that the tail wags, the eyes are flashing red, and that the smoke is coming out of the nose.
Wow.
So that's step 1. And then step 2
I noticed that
is
panel.
this
so I-
fancy big old button over here.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
that's so cool.
Our home run whistle, which is really cool. Basically, nothing's working right now because we're replacing the bull.
Right.
But press this big old button and the sound goes off.
Wow, that's cool.
It's really cool. You notice a home run, and we just get a lot of energy up here. Everyone's yelling home run so that we do everything that needs to be done.
So, Kevin, can you tell me who you are and where we are and what happens here?
I can. I'm Kevin White. I'm the executive producer for the Durham Bulls Post 50 television crew. We are comprised of high school students. We do all the broadcasting and everything. We send it off to the station, and they produce it, and they send it out to everyone else.
Cool. No, that's awesome. So, and you just, I believe I heard you correctly, all of your staff that work on this part of the operation, they're all high schoolers?
Yep. We do from the summer after your 8th grade year up until you're 21. If you're going to college in the area, we love to keep you on, but most of our staff is comprised of high school students.
That's so cool. It's both a really cool opportunity, obviously, for the students themselves, but I think it's also cool, you know, just to show that kind of support for the community, to have like a place for students to plug in and really learn some technical skills and you know, just really feel connected to something so important to the city. So Scott, where are we?
Yeah, we're in the dungeon right now. We're in a place. A lot of the places that we visited today, a lot of people come in and out of them, right? And the public can go to some of those spaces as well. This is a spot where the public is not allowed to come to, and very few people get to come in, other than our team. We are in our Durham Bulls clubhouse, and specifically we're in the locker room portion of the home clubhouse. So we have 2 clubhouses. Technically, we have 3. We have the Bulls clubhouse, we have the visiting clubhouse, and we have a clubhouse for Duke baseball as they play all their home games here as well. So their clubhouse is down in the right field corner. But yeah, this is the Bulls locker room. So we're standing here in front of Blake Snell's jersey. Blake is a Cy Young Award winner for the Tampa Bay Rays, who just got traded to the San Diego Padres. So
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing this space with us and our audience. This is,
Absolutely.
I hope people enjoy seeing this space. I certainly have. This is incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Where are we now, Scott?
Yeah, we're in a cool spot. Probably one of the coolest spots of the ballpark. We're behind the Blue Monster wall, and we are literally in the operating area for the manual scoreboard. So not a ton of baseball stadiums have manual scoreboards anymore. We are one that does. We like kind of being true to our history and old school a little bit. And this is definitely an old school way of keeping score of a game.
Yeah, absolutely. So a person is back here moving numbers around.
Yeah.
I've always seen that. It does give a cool feel as a spectator at the game.
Yeah.
It makes even though I wasn't there in like the 20s, it still gives me that feel of like this is baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a person currently, Chris Ivy, who's done this for a number of years, and his predecessor had been here for about 15 years. Each kind of operator has their own system of how they lay the numbers out. Right here, you can kind of see how he's got all of his sevens, all of his eights, all of his nines, all of his zeros, all of his sixes, etc. And so he can run back and forth because it can get pretty fast paced depending on what has happened. If you have a triple that also has an error that has scored 3 runs, followed by a home run, followed by another error, there's a lot of stuff going on at one time back here. So it can get hot during the summer. Not only does it get hot, it does get hot. But he has a lot of fun back here and has his own way of doing things, and it's definitely a cool perspective of watching the game as well through one of the top of the ninth window where he watches the game from.
So we're fulfilling a lifelong dream of mine.
Playing third base?
Yes. Being here on the Bulls field, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really excited. And I would also love to hear about kind of the science of making sure this is a safe place for the players to play.
Absolutely. So right now we're standing on top of grass. We're standing on top of dormant latitude 36 Bermuda grass. So there's all these different types of grasses in the world.
Right.
And on this part of the field, we have latitude 36 Bermuda grass that was actually developed at Oklahoma State in a lab. That sits on top of 10 inches of root zone sand. That's basically 100% sand. That's for drainage. That's the way it can rain. It can stop raining, and we can immediately play baseball. Unlike your backyard, side yard, where you might not be able to play for a day or so. Right? And then that sits on top of 4 inches of gravel. Beneath that are actually drainage pipes and the irrigation system for the playing field. So, grass needs sunlight, water, oxygen to be able to grow and to breathe and to prosper. And unlike your yard, obviously we're putting a lot of wear and tear on it. So it's got to recover very, 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 very quickly.
Right.
Because we play a whole lot of baseball games on it. So.
Very cool.
And so that sound that we hear behind us, that machine, what are they doing?
Yeah, so exciting time of year as we're getting ready for the upcoming baseball season. So everything on the field is precision graded to an exact slope. The actual infield grass is perfectly flat. That way it's a little more true of a roll to every player. And then so once you get onto the infield dirt, it actually becomes at a 1% slope falling off to the side. So that helps water run off so we can play when we put the tarp on. We don't have a ton of water sitting on top of it.
Right.
Because when we pull it off in the morning at 7:30 on a Saturday or Sunday, we don't want any water on top of it, right? And so he's running through it right now as we're applying kind of new dirt for the next upcoming season and grading it out to where it needs to be, and then they'll till it all together so it's one mix 6 inches, 8 inches deep, and then they'll grade it again to make sure it's perfectly flat and no bad hops. We don't want any bad hops.
That's right.
Yeah, no doubt.
That is very cool.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing this with us.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
Great. So Scott, Emily, Kevin, thank you all so much for letting us join you at your place of work in one of my very places to spend time in the summertime.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
This has been so awesome. And so for those of you who are watching, stay tuned for the live Q&A. We're going to get to talk and ask live questions with some of these folks.
Stay tuned.
Super cool. That was such a fun trip. Also, the chat was hopping. Great question.
Chat was hopping. We have many, many questions for from some of our hosts. Mrs. D and Miss Gazy, would you like to ask some of these questions?
Sure. One of the first questions was from a student asking how fast can balls be pitched? Like, what's the fastest?
A little over 100 miles per hour.
That is wild. It is wild to think of being able to throw something that hard.
So a batter is standing 60 feet 6 inches away from the pitcher. And then he has something coming at him that he has to hit. That's that big and is being thrown 100 miles per hour. So kind of hard.
It's a lot of practice.
How many players are on the team?
We currently have roster sizes of 25 players.
When did the team begin?
Good question.
1902.
That is wild. Yeah, the Bulls are an old team. That's cool.
My students seem very surprised by that. When were African Americans allowed to join the league?
So Jackie Robinson basically broke into baseball in 1947. And as we had in the thread, there's a lot of great information out on Jackie Robinson. My nephew actually did a school project on Jackie last year. So Jackie's number was number 42. There's a great movie about him titled 42, and his number is retired throughout all of baseball.
Nice. Yeah, and so to retire a number means that only Jackie Robinson will have ever had that number.
That's correct.
Or at least he will have been the last person to have had that number.
I had a couple kids ask a few more questions. One was, how many hours do they work? Was one question. And then the other one was, can you break the bat? Is it possible to break the bat, I guess? So those two questions came up as well.
Emily, take it.
Yeah, so it is possible to break the bat. They play with wooden bats, so the wood can split, and sometimes it can be kind of scary for the players on the field, but also it's very interesting to see where the piece that's broken off ends up, because it can end up, just splitting the bat, or it can all the way break in half and end up somewhere in the field. And then what was your other question?
How many hours do they work each day? I guess the players.
The players, Scott, how long are players here? I think they probably report anywhere from 11 to 1 until the end of the game.
They like to think that they are here for a very, very long time, but they usually get here a little after lunchtime. Our normal game time is 7 o'clock at night. And so they'll come in a little after lunchtime. They'll work out in the weight room. They'll work out in the batting tunnels and get some extra swings in. Then they'll take batting practice around 4 o'clock, come inside, eat a little meal, go play at 7, eat another meal, which I hopefully get to dine in on as well, and then they go home. So usually they're out of here at about 11 o'clock and again, get here around 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Long days though. That's even for the players. How long do y'all, like the support staff, end up having to work?
Well, the interesting thing about the players is they start that and usually around the middle of February, and they do that every single day at our level through the middle of September. So very few days off, very few chances to go home. It's a long, grueling summer. For our staff, we're usually a game day is usually 12 or 13 hours worth of work, and then the times that the team is on the road, it's usually more of a 40-hour work week. And that's usually from, let's just say, March 1st to October 1st. And then in between there, it dies down a little bit and is more normal.
Dedicated work, though, for everyone, it sounds like. Yeah.
Sure.
One student wants to know how many games have the Bulls won, I guess, in total.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little trivia.
I might have that, Scott.
Oh.
So we
That's
play
another question, and I'll get back to it.
Yeah, we play 140 games per year, roughly. In our regular season, it's roughly 140 games. And then we have been really, really lucky here in Durham that our teams have been really, really good just about every year. And so we have played in the playoffs a number of years. So I've been here for 17 years, and I think we've been in the playoffs 13 of those 17 years. So that usually adds on 3 or 4 games per year.
I see a student asking if a player was to be hurt, is there a place inside the stadium or in the facilities to take care of them?
Yes, and we actually have a team doctor who's been here forever, Dr. Brooke, and Dr. Brooke will run downstairs and help out our trainer, especially if it's a serious injury. And then we're really fortunate to have Duke Hospital so close to us that they can run him over to the Duke Hospital. But usually it's a minor injury, it's a sprained ankle, it's a pulled muscle. And in our training room here in the stadium, they get taken care of. And to go back to the previous question, say you got hurt playing on a Tuesday night. On Wednesday, you might come in a little early, say around 11 o'clock in the morning, and get some extra treatment from our trainer.
I saw a really interesting question in the chat asking why is there sand beneath the grass and why is it 10 inches deep?
So a lot of science has gone into the depth of that sand. And so it's 10 inches deep so that it actually has gravity to it and it pulls the water through the sand. If it was only 3 or 4 inches deep, it wouldn't pull the water fast enough for us to drain and play baseball that night.
I have a student that wants to know what's the highest the ball has ever been hit?
Yeah, so unlike soccer or football, think about those games, most of the time the ball is on the ground. Sometimes, obviously in football, it's being thrown, but it's not being thrown that high. In baseball, balls can fly as high as 185, 225 feet, somewhere in that range. We could talk for hours about sports field lighting and how lighting a baseball field is more complicated because you also have to light the field and the air above the field.
Right, because the players need to be able to see that. Yeah. Cool.
So going back to 1990, I didn't go back all the way to 1902, but going back to 1990, the Durham Bulls have won 2,167 games.
Woohoo!
Go Bulls!
Go
So I have it all here. I have it all year by year results, but it would have taken me a long time to add up everything going all the way back to 1902.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. That's great. There was one more question that I thought was a really good question that we can get to. When it rains, what happens?
If it's not raining too hard, we all sit out there and we get wet and we watch baseball. But when it rains too hard, I saw one question, why is everyone wearing blue? All of us who are wearing blue Bulls jackets and polo shirts, we run outside and we push a 170-foot by 170-foot tarp out onto the field. And the players go into the clubhouses, the people in the stands go underneath the roof or onto the concourse, and we hopefully wait the rain out, and hopefully it stops. Think about, kind of North Carolina weather in the summer. Lots of times you'll get a 30-minute downpour storm, and then poof, it's fine. Then we would pull the tarp off and start playing again.
So cool.
That makes sense. I've been to those games where we're just kind of having to sit out there and wait. And sometimes it can be fun waiting out there in the rain, getting a little bit wet, and then watching baseball happen again, which is really fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you. Oops, sorry.
Really fun question. So I'm going to rephrase the comment, which is, are y'all rich, to maybe what the salary is for the Durham Bulls players?
For the players, that is a really complicated formula, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And let's see if I can simplify this. If you're really, really, really good, it's like the top 5 or 10 players every year that sign a contract to play professional baseball, they get paid a lot of money to sign that contract. So upwards of $6-7 million just to sign that contract. But that is very few people. Everybody else is usually around, at our level, around $35,000 to $45,000. There are a couple players on our roster every year that have played in the big leagues or have signed a big league contract, and they might be making $1 million or a little less than that. But most of the folks are kind of like us and the rest of the front office, and we aren't exactly getting paid millions of dollars unless we win the lottery.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Emily, and all of the wonderful people that let us spend some time with them at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. I'd also like to shout out Southwest and Parkwood Elementary. Oops, sorry, not Parkwood, Sandy Ridge Elementary for hosting us this morning. And I also like to thank our Durham Public School partners, Will Austin Soha and Dr. Linda Targaryen, for allowing us to make Field Trip Fridays. Steve, where are we going next week?
Yeah, so next week this one's kind of interesting. We're going to be meeting with Dr. Chris Hazard, who is a computer scientist, co-founder and chief technology officer with DivePlane, which is a company that uses really amazing mathematical and computational tools to basically make robot scientists. And so we'll get into what that means during the episode, but it gets a little complicated, but we'll see how they train computers to do things like play video games, fly simulated drones, and interpret data like a scientist would. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be learning about artificial intelligence and machine learning.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And I also like to thank you, Steve, for being such a wonderful host.
Oh, you're a wonderful host, Jen.
All right, friends. Hope to see you next week. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.